Okay, now we're on to user enumeration. We're back on our machine. Let's just go ahead and type in shell on this. And we can look at the different types of users. First, let's start with ourselves. We could just say something like, who am I? And you can see on this machine, we're IIS app pool. So this means that we are not the system level user. That's okay. We can also look at our privileges. Say who am I /priv. And this will provide some information, and all of this might not make any sense right now. This will come back into play later when we talk about token impersonation and how we can utilize that from different perspectives. One from what we call potato attacks, either juicy potato, rotten potato, etc., or even just standard token impersonation. We'll talk about that and privileges and how they work. So it's very interesting, but we'll dive into it later. Just know this whoami priv command exists, and that it allows us to look at different privileges that we have available to us. So last, we can do whoami /groups. And we can look at what groups we're involved in. So you can tell that this user is not part of any sort of administrative group. We just look to be part of standard users, nothing going on here that's exciting for us. But you never know, we might be part of an administrator group and we might have rights in, even though we say IIS app pool, maybe it was misconfigured and we actually have admin rights to begin with. So it's always good to look at the groups that we're belonging to. Now we could type in something like net user, and that will show us the users on this machine. So you could see that there are actually just really two users. They have a guest account, but we have administrator and then this Babis user. Well, we're on a service is what we actually landed on. So we're not on a real user account. We just happen to be a part of a service that's running, which is the IIS service. So what's happening here is we're taking over a service, but there are these user accounts. So maybe we can move laterally into a user account and then escalate into administrator, or maybe we can just escalate directly into an administrator account. We don't know quite yet, but it's good to know what's out there and how we could take advantage of it possibly. We could also look at specific users, like we want to say net user Babis, and we can see information about Babis. We can see when their password was last set, when it expires. All of this is just extra information, right? And you can see what group memberships they have. Same thing with the net user of administrator. We can take a look at this, and you can see what group memberships they have. Well, look, they're part of the administrators, where this Babis user is just part of the users group. So if we were to take over this Babis user, it still wouldn't matter because we wouldn't be escalated fully. We would just be at a same level user that we're at. There might be more information. Maybe there's a password stored in a file or something on that user that we didn't have access to as the current user. But for now, it's not an admin user. We can identify what admin user we could possibly take over just by doing quick user enumeration like this. So the other thing that we can look at are the local groups. So we could try net local groups. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You can see here, we don't have a logon session that actually exists, so it's not going to work for us. But maybe we know a local group that does exist, like administrators. Then we could say, hey, I want to look at the administrators group. Maybe there are a bunch of users and we just want to see who's part of that group. Well, we could find out the membership quite easily. Here we see it's administrator, and that's all we have to focus on. So that's really it for now. Again, a lot of these are going to come back into play later on. I'm just trying to get you introduced to the basics and kind of get you introduced into what you should be looking for, system related, user related, and then next we're going to focus on network related. So we're going to dig into some network enumeration and move on from there. So I'll catch you over in the next video.